Hi, this is Joe Satriani, and you're watching Stingray PausePlay.
I'm Zac Monson. Welcome to another episode of Stingray PausePlay, here with guitar hero himself, musical legend, Joe Satriani. Hi, Joe. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Very, very happy to see you. I'm so glad that you could take the time to chat with us.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
You know, right off the bat, what is that first memory that you have of playing a guitar, or picking up a guitar, or seeing a guitar?
Oh, man. Earliest memories was sitting in front of a TV with the family. I'm the youngest of 5, so I got to see my older siblings go crazy over early rock and roll, British invasion stuff as it would show up on something like the Ed Sullivan Show or something like that. And I just got caught up in the excitement. So I actually started out as a drummer. By the time I was 9, I was taking lessons. It took about 3 years for me to convince myself that I sucked pretty much as a drummer. Very enthusiastic, but not very good. Was my number one. I became a fanatic. I just thought he was the greatest thing ever. And when he died, I decided to play the guitar. The very day, when I found out, I quit the football team, went home and announced to my family over dinner that that's what I was going to do with my life. Then I got this guitar, and the cruel reality set in that it hurt.
Right.
And not much of that has gone away. It's still really hard.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to get easy, but
not so much.
No.
What about Jimmy's passing was that kind of like light on, flip that switch moment for you? Well, I mean, hearing his music, you must have felt that passion for the guitar and the love of it. So what about his passing was kind of that moment where you said, well, I have to take over now?
Well, you know, you said it, passion. That's what it was. I mean, I was young, right, 14, so my memory of it isn't very intellectual, right? You're just kind of like a rush of hormones, right? The thought that somehow that part of my life that was wrapped up in being passionate about his new music was suddenly not going to be there. I just had the records now. And I thought, well, I'm not going to try to be like him or replace him, but how do I replace that music? I'm going to have to make that passion myself. So I just decided I was going to stick it out and try my hardest.
With your career being this 30-year stretch, are there things that you loved when you started that you really don't like now, or things that you didn't like then that now you think, oh, that's actually a great part of my job?
The second before I step out on stage, I'm thinking, this is a bad idea.
Do you still think that before every show? Or are you still nervous or think like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah.
Every single show.
Yeah, I always think that's not me. I'm not there must be the guy next to me, you know, one of the other guys in the band.
Step out of you.
I'm always thinking like they're the perfect guys to walk out on stage and be performers, but certainly not me. I should be the guy behind the curtain holding a clipboard saying, go, Zach, go, you know.
So we asked the last artist that we had in to ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
The band is Cave Boy, and the question for you is,
hey, we're Cave Boy, and we want to know, what's the guilty pleasure on your current playlist?
Oh, that's a good one. There are so many. You guys are going to have to help me. Who did the original version? I Only Have Eyes for You. The Flamingos. Thank you.
Our audio guy with the save,
much.
the Flamingos.
I could talk to you about this for hours, right? one day it popped into my head, and I thought, I haven't heard that song in so long. I love it. And I found it, and I instantly thought, I have to play this. I have to figure out how to do this instrumentally somehow, which is really hard because it's a beautiful vocal tune, and the lyrics are so important. And but I listen to that maybe a couple of times a week, just because it's almost like I need to hear it for some reason. My body needs to hear it or something like that, and I still haven't figured out how I'm going to play it instrumentally, but
I have a feeling you might figure it out, Joe. I'm just saying, you might figure it out. Stingray Qello is so thrilled that we get to showcase your new documentary, Beyond the Supernova. It follows you on the Surfing the Shockwave tour in Europe and Asia. It's filmed, it's edited and directed by your son, Zizi. Amazing baby name, by the way, Zizi. What do you want to say about this film? What are people going to learn about you when they watch it?
Wow. Well, Zizi was able to capture, I think, the real me in a way that only a son, would understand how to do, because I was struggling with how am I going to record a new record and go in a new direction. And so as I'm on the tour bus and backstage, and I guess it's on my face, and he's filming it, and he's going, there's a movie here about that. It's not just a bunch of guys on tour. I was shocked when I finally saw the whole thing, and it was his baby. I didn't go in there and say, get rid of that scene, and I don't look good in that one. I just thought, how do you do that when it's your son doing the work? Yeah. You could do it if you hired somebody. You'd say, only shoot me from the left or whatever like that, But I figured he knows me better than anybody, so...
Past the documentary, after some time has passed, here we are with the new album, probably titled "What Happens Next." And it's not a question; it's a statement. It's not what happens next. It's this is what happens next. This is who I am now. What about this album feels new for you?
Oh wow, so much. The process of, and I think Azizi captured some of those moments on the tour bus, where my mind is already on the next record. I'm already dismantling parts of what I've been doing the last couple of years and saying, I won't go there again. I'm only going to go in this direction. So physically, again, it was about getting rid of a lot of things I was playing and focusing in on what would sound like and what would feel like those early days.
You talk about finding the soul of a song and listening to a song and having it have an emotional response and feeling the song. You're an instrumental musician now. Your songs don't have any words. Yeah. Often crazy thematic titles, but not words. So how do you go about trying to express a certain idea? I get the idea of certain melodies express love, or certain chords in a minor way express anger or sadness. But expressing something like a cat robot, how do you go about doing that when you can't just sing the words cat robot?
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's harder to do emotions like love, but it's easy when it's something like Catbot, because you just make your guitar sound like a cat robot.
Like a Catbot, yeah, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
And the power of instrumental music is that once you give it to the audience, they can use it as they see fit, which I think is right. So sometimes I wonder, should the title let people know what the song means to me? Is that a burden or is that a plus? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been able to answer that question. Like, should I have called the crying something else?
Right.
And so people, because most people think it's a romantic song.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for them.
And have you ever thought about potentially just, every song you put out, do a 1-minute video clip explaining where you were at, or in the liner notes explaining how you got there? Or
does anybody really want to know that? I don't know.
I think that people who are a fan of your music and a fan of instrumental music and a fan of guitar would absolutely love to know that. Because with so many singers, even when you hear words, you're not sure what they're talking about sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
So I can't imagine that people who are listening to this music are just dying to dig into your head.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that your fans would love to hear that, Joe.
We've done that a few times, and I don't know. I guess that's the other part of me, not the Shockwave Supernova part, but the real Joe part, which thinks, I don't want to talk about this, you know?
Yeah.
I'd rather just it represent itself. What are you trying to get at? And so, yeah.
Well, I think whether people fully understand what your music means or what it's saying, people love you. You're just such an amazingly talented artist, and I'm so happy to see that you're not giving up. Your alter ego still remains, whether you agree that it's yourself or not, and you're producing amazing music. So really, thank you so much for sitting with me. You can catch the documentary Beyond the Supernova on Qello.com. You can also hear Joe Satriani's music on Stinger Music's Rock Channel, the Classic Rock Channel, the Rock Anthems Channel, and of course all of our Vibes channels, just like Intro to Guitar Greatness and Man Cave Rock. Available now on our mobile app and web player. Don't forget to leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to keep up to date with all the newest episodes of Stingray PausePlay. Thanks, Joe.